Hello.
Hello, man. Sorry, that one gets me every time. It's been a little while with the holidays, so I apologize. Hi, my name is Taylor Coyne.
And my name is James Cook. We both research retail and real estate for JLL.
And this is everything we know about retail.
Taylor, this is the show where we tell all of you everything that we know about retail, 3 things at a time.
James, what do you know about retail this week?
Well, Taylor, I know that despite the Rona, Santa is still at the mall. And what do you know about retail, Taylor?
Well, I know that COVID Christmas is shaping up to be something that we really primarily do online this year.
Okay, so it's going to be an online COVID Christmas. All right, well, tell me all about that. Tell me what's up with holiday shopping.
So, right, we just came after, this is a few days after what historically has been the biggest shopping season time of the year for a lot of different retailers.
Don't mind me. I'm just going to shop while you talk.
Oh, so
continue.
This is perfect. This is actually part of my story. So we heard from NRF that online-only shoppers increased 44% over this past Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, that's a very big jump. Unfortunately, what is also another big jump is that in-store shoppers dropped 55% on Thanksgiving Day, and Black Friday dropped by 37%. So, that's not insignificant. We knew that was going to happen. Obviously people still went to the stores, but people were also finding alternative ways to shop, which is really what looks like you're doing too.
What do you think of the sweater? You like the sweater?
It's actually funny. When I was also shopping virtually, I also looked at that sweater and I was like, that looks like fun and wintry.
This wool blend hoodie from Ralph Lauren is only $398.
Well, by the way, shopping on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah. We are virtually shopping the Ralph Lauren store on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. Oh, wow. Look, you can go to different rooms. Wait, oh my gosh. I didn't know this room was back here. I think I've been in this store in real life.
I don't think I've been in the store in real life, but I did explore yesterday, and I actually thought it was a great solution. So I think, we've been seeing virtual reality, augmented reality for a while now, but I think everyone knows they've got to pivot and try to do something to keep your consumers engaged during this trying period where, as we just mentioned, that, in-store shoppers dropped 55% on Thanksgiving Day. And 37% on Black Friday. I feel like Thanksgiving, I don't know, everyone hopefully was spending time with family. But we're seeing all of these retailers roll out these virtual stores so you can get somewhat of this shopping experience back. For some of these retailers, you really want to go and explore the store. And I thought Ralph Lauren actually did a really good job of, I think it might also encourage you to go to the store. So, if you shop here regularly, you get to go here. It feels like it's in the season. You can see all of their holiday decorations. Of course, you still can't touch and feel, but I think it's better than nothing. And it still does feel like more of an in-store experience.
Yeah. In a million years, given all things being equal, I'm going to want to physically go to this store. But this is a great... if I'm not feeling safe, this is a great way to do it. So in-store shopping, way down Black Friday. The data that I was looking at said foot traffic in malls was down by 44%. I was talking with the head of marketing, Sarah Fossen at Rosedale Center, which is a really nice mall outside of Minneapolis. And she said people were out for Black Friday, but it just wasn't anything like it normally is.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I totally get people going out. I wonder how much of it partly too, I know there have been some consumer surveys of basically since I want to say April, maybe beginning of May, so many retailers had so many inventory concerns that we've seen promotions for half of the year already. So many people started, they said they started Black Friday early. So you had some of these promotions way earlier than just the day that we normally have them. So I think there's also just less incentive. Again, people, of course, are afraid cases are going up. Restrictions vary from city to city. But again, I just feel like people feel that those promotions aren't necessarily unique to the day anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's really, my expectations are that Black Friday comes back next year, as long as we've got a vaccine rolled out.
I will never participate in Black Friday, but I totally get that it's a thing for a lot of people. And I feel like at this point, it's just part of your holiday tradition. But I will promise you, I will never be as one of those shopping statistics on Black Friday.
Yeah. Well, I have gone out on Black Friday, more like as a work thing. But Taylor, I do a lot of traditionally in-person shopping around the holidays, like I have, purely due to procrastination. It's not really anything that if I can shop ahead, sure, I'll get some stuff online. But, usually I end up, it's like a week before the 25th. And it's too late to order stuff online then.
That's generous, a week before. I have often shopped on, the 23rd or maybe even the 24th morning of just getting a few last things.
Yeah. Well, okay. Any other thoughts on the holiday season and how it's rolling out?
No, I mean, I think it's going to really be what we all expect. And I think the bright spots are that you're seeing some creative solutions from some of these retailers. Ralph Lauren is not the only one to do a virtual store. And we've seen them before. Are they here to stay forever? Probably not, but it's still a good, different way to interact with your consumer that you've been struggling to connect with during these very trying times. So we'll see what happens. And, we'll be certain to report back all of our holiday spendings as the holiday season continues, because somehow it's already December 2nd.
I don't know what happened, but I wish time would move more quickly.
I don't think I've ever been more excited for December 1st. My friend texted, like, this is it, final stretch of 2020. Like, we're almost there. And I was like, thank goodness.
Yeah, let's kick that dumpster fire out the window and close the window and never look back.
Exactly. So
that was a weird metaphor.
Yeah, but it's a weird year, so it works. It fits. All right, James, what else do you know about retail? I have a feeling it has another something to do with holidays.
Well, Taylor, I hopped in my car and I went to the mall last week. And that's me at the mall. I went to South Lake Mall in Merrillville, Indiana, which is in the Chicago region. So I met with Santa and some of his friends with this company, Cherry Hill Programs. So they produce Santa visits all over the country and at a lot of malls that we manage. So you can see there, you now use a QR code on your phone to check in, and you can also use it for payment. So you can pay for the photos that they take of you with Santa. They take reservations now. I was there before they opened. You can see I'm the only one there, so I had Santa all to myself. It's pretty sweet.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Christmas definitely came early.
Yeah, I know, right? But there were big changes. So as you can see here, I'm not sitting on Santa's lap. Not that I would. Well, I might for the photo, for the joke. I might do it, but nobody's sitting on Santa's lap. They have all those presents set up, so nobody can even get near Santa.
Santa is protected.
I know. You can't take off your mask, even for the photo, which surprised me. But when I realized, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then they're cleaning a lot. So they have a whole sanitation routine that they do between each visitor with all the touch points, like the railings and the seats that you sit on. And they have to space out visits more because of that. They do have, here you can see they have a new live VIP Zoom Santa.
Oh, wow. So you can have your own personal session with Santa.
Yeah, for people who don't want to go in person, you can do a live Zoom with Santa, which I don't. They didn't. I should ask them like how popular that turned out to be. I don't know. We'll see how popular the virtual Santa experience ends up being. But okay, so key takeaways. One, I think they did a great job with safety. All things considered, all the craziness they had to deal with, they did a great job. They made it feel like the holidays, sort of ish. I mean, no, it definitely felt like the holidays, but it felt a little weird. But they did everything they could. I would say the mask wearing by me and Santa and everybody else was just tough, right? And especially having the mask in the photo, I thought that was a little bit tough.
Right.
So I would have to say that I am looking forward to next year when the Santa experience is back to normal again.
Can you talk to Santa? Like, Santa's far from you. Like, isn't that part of it? Like, little kids go and say, I want, a toy truck.
Yes. So that is part of the experience. Normally you're sitting on Santa's lap and saying, I want
Yeah, you have a chat. You have a chat.
I'm trying to think of like a thing that people want. I want a Pokemon thing, right? Yeah. I want a Star Wars thing. Anyway, yeah. So you can talk to him, but it's far away and it was a little tough to hear. I would say if it was a permanent installation and they knew they were going to have to do it again next year to put Santa on a mic or something.
Yeah, or maybe what's the for some reason I'm imagining this at like a play. Oh yeah, it's a playground where one kid can talk here and it goes through a pipe and talk to the other kid over there. It's like basically an intercom, but obviously not.
So Taylor, if I get it correctly, you're advocating that we have two tin cans connected by a string. I'm like, Santa, I want a strawberry shortcake, and he's like, "Yep, you've been a good kid this year."
Yes. I actually feel like that might be like part of the, I don't know. There's something nostalgic about tin can communication too. So, I think it works.
Okay.
That's what I advocate for.
Right. So let's say that COVID is permanent. You could do a lot. You could get really creative. You could put in an old timey telephone, like and hold it up to the ear and be like, talk to Santa, or a phone booth.
I was just about to say, hop in one of those red phone booths. Like, again, also like holiday something. I don't know. We should be consultants for them next year. Let's hope that this isn't a thing that we have to do next year for the holiday season. But again, I feel like you've got a lot of good ideas for this.
You do. You've got, I think that, we should probably quit our day jobs and become Santa consultants.
Yeah.
So Taylor, I should also say, I also interviewed Brian Lutz, who's the head of marketing, with Cherry Hill Programs, which is a company that does the Santas. And if anybody wants to check it out, it is on LinkedIn. I posted it on LinkedIn. Just go follow James Cook at JLL on LinkedIn, and that video is there.
The last thing I'm going to say about Santa, because I'm thinking about my nephews, and I heard that Dr. Fauci came on and said, don't worry, Santa is immune to COVID. And that just like broke my sister-in-law's heart, because she just thought it was like the sweetest thing that you could do for children. But anyway, I'm just wondering, I actually am thinking maybe the Zoom Santa could be popular. They're all used to Zoom now. Everyone's doing, not everyone. Lots of kids have done virtual learning. I could see you taking that up, and being excited about it. So
I feel bad. My video now contradicts Dr. Fauci, because one of the things that Brian talked about was that Santa quarantined for 14 days beforehand.
Yes. Well, according to Dr. Fauci, yes, he is immune or something like that. I'm pretty sure he said he was immune.
I mean, there's just not that many cases in the North Pole. That's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're very good about mask wearing and social distancing.
All right. Well, Taylor, what else do you know about retail?
So, James, would you ever, buy Prada, Gucci online?
I think the real question is, would I buy either things? And I think I need a higher income bracket in order to do that regularly. Probably not. I don't think luxury shopping online is the thing. If you're going to spend that much money for something, I want to check it out in person first, definitely.
I think I agree with you, but I am not sure if we are the majority. So
Really.
interesting. I feel, luxury, like all other sectors during this time, have had to pivot and figure out what's going on. We know from previous recessions that luxury, will always take a dip, but still bounces back. There are always going to be those people. It has this unique experience, these very individual, unique products, that there's always, there's going to be demand. It will rebound. Luxury is generally a pretty, steady market. But again, probably the most overused word this year, right? Unprecedented.
Yeah.
During this
the
time,
most overused word, 100%.
Exactly. So we're going to drop it again. During these unprecedented times, even luxury kind of had to figure out what was up, because they normally did not sell online. That was not a thing. Again, to your point, it's about going in. It's about touching all of these products and interacting with them, especially if you're going to drop so much money when purchasing them. But again, like so many other retailers, they had a lot of inventory concerns. Department stores canceled orders, so they were left with a ton of inventory. So interestingly, in September, Amazon launched luxury stores.
Okay.
It's an invitation-only service, and it's, only available to Prime customers also. But it's all about this luxury experience and supposed to feel very different from your typical Amazon page. But really, it was supposed to provide a solution for all of these luxury retailers that were really struggling. So Oscar de la Renta started out on the platform. And then they're completely in control too. So it's not like, when you go on, to try to find a hammer or something and a bajillion things come up, these luxury retailers are setting their prices, they're setting all of their inventory, and they're also dictating how all of their goods are going to be displayed on the webpage. And then all of these stores also get access to Amazon's View in 360, so you can see every angle of the product. So again, new things that, people are just reinventing and figuring out what's going to work for them. Is it going to be long-term? Not sure. But I think people are realizing that they will, that luxury consumer knows what they want, especially if they're familiar with a brand. And I think they're willing to sacrifice some of that in-store experience if they can get the product, if they can see it in a way that is visually pleasing online. And this all really came to, like, who knows? There's still kind of like a stigma of, luxury joining a marketplace that's a little contrary to what we know about the luxury brand. So will it work? Don't know. But another very interesting thing happened recently. That in November, Richemont, which is the, owner of Cartier, fancy jewelry and very fancy watches, and Alibaba, I guess we can call it the Chinese Amazon equivalent, right? But even maybe more of a behemoth. They announced that they were investing $1.1 billion in Farfetch, which is an online fashion retailer. It's a marketplace platform that was founded in 2007 and is extremely popular. So we are seeing, granted in two different parts of the world, but, we're seeing a huge shift of luxury on online platforms. And Farfetch is doing incredibly well. I mean, I think that's obvious if they just got, pretty big companies to invest $1.1 billion. Excuse me. But they also, let's see here, 62% increase of goods sold over the past 3 months compared to the year prior. And their gross profit was up 82%. That's a lot for, luxury goods in a recession during a pandemic. So I think that it's really this new partnership. I think we're going to see a lot of new things in luxury, of which is not generally a sector that we see a ton of evolution in. So it's a brand new world.
So would you say that traditionally luxury brands would not want to be on an online marketplace because they didn't have control over the brand experience?
Yep.
And they wanted it to feel exclusive. They didn't want it to feel like you were just jumping on and shopping online. They wanted it to feel special. And so the way that they're getting around this is it's exclusive. Like you have to what is it? You have to be invited to come in, or?
I do know that's for sure on the Amazon one. I'm not sure if that's in Farfetch. No, Farfetch is just like an online retailer. But
Gotcha.
Alibaba also has their Tmall luxury pavilion.
Okay.
That might also be invitation only, but someone out there is probably like, absolutely not. That's not how it works. But they have, I think it's almost 200 very, high-end names on its site. And it's all about this very controlled customer experience. So, again, I'm Prada. I'm very much in control on this page within this marketplace, which is, important, especially as, all of these brands spend millions of dollars on those photo shoots and campaigns with models. And, that's very important to their brand.
Yeah. So, hey, interesting tidbit, and I'm trying to think how I can anonymize this. I was on a phone call with people in, I could say China this morning. I'm trying to think of the interesting stuff. Anyway, I think this is general enough that I can say this. So all around the world right now, overall, we're seeing a decline in luxury spending due to coronavirus. With the exception of one place, mainland China. So all of the Chinese, affluent Chinese tourists who would go to places like New York or Miami to buy luxury goods aren't allowed to travel as we are all locked down right now. And so they are shopping more for luxury goods in their cities. So places like Beijing and Shanghai and Shenzhen and a bunch of other second-tier Chinese cities that a lot of people probably don't even know about, luxury spending, huge growth right now. So really interesting kind of counter trend there in China.
Yeah. And I wonder how that will play out going forward too, because excuse me. A lot of these brands are also now, because of that, because they, all of these Chinese consumers can't travel, they're investing even more on all of those platforms geared towards the Chinese consumer. So, that investment doesn't just disappear once things are behind us. So I would think that might impact where we see the biggest amount of luxury spending. And I don't mean from groups. I just mean where physically you are buying a lot of your luxury goods from, what country, what area. But again, I also think when this is beyond us, everyone is going to be so excited if they can to just travel anywhere.
Oh my God.
Do all of the things.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it's interesting. The forecast that I've been looking at for travel, it's not going to be like, right away travel comes back to pre-COVID levels, especially business travel. It's going to take a while for businesses to get back into, traveling for meetings again. And I think there's probably going to be some meetings that we realize we don't need to travel for, but the leisure travel, I feel like I know as soon as I can, I'm going to go. We love to go, for example, to Toronto, and we've been talking about going to Vancouver and just all the international travel that you can't do right now. We've been talking about doing a European trip that's been on hold. All that's going to come back.
Yeah. I was talking to my dad yesterday. We're already trying to plan a family trip for 2022.
Nice. Where to? Where are we going?
I think we're going to Italy. It had been kind of on the books for a little bit. We talked about it, kind of were thinking about it, and then pandemic happened. We didn't do it. 2021 seems a little still, iffy, especially for international travel. So 2022, the Coynes are going to Italy.
Well, European vacation, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Well, for our live viewers out there, if there's any place that you're going to as soon as the restrictions are lifted, type it in the comments and we'll put it up on the screen. I'm curious as to where anybody's going. All of our hundreds of thousands of viewers out there.
Please don't be shy. The millions of you that are listening right now. I will also say a trip to Hawaii got canceled for me this year. So yeah, that's kind of,
that's a bummer.
Yeah. It was really sad. It was going to be great. So that's one that I just kind of like to, just redo. I just want to go. And it's pretty easy from California too. And I still have never been. So
Yeah, I had a Hawaii trip that got canceled at the last minute. That was going to be a work trip, and it was going to be the greatest coup of my life, which I could somehow go to Hawaii for work. I was like, this is going to be the best thing ever.
Yeah, are you kidding? And then you just stay for an extra couple days.
Right,
Also,
exactly.
can you put a comment up on the screen? Because Keisha's going to Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay, we should say we know Keisha. Keisha's from Jamaica, so that's like just going.
Yeah, but look at how excited she is about it. I think she has like 5 exclamation points.
That is a lot of exclamation points. Yeah, that's got to be really tough not to even go visit your home. Yeah.
I also just got personally pinged by, thank you, Mitchell, for tuning in. He wants to go to Australia as soon as the restrictions are lifted. So if we could, we would be putting his comment up on the screen. But I just wanted to make sure that, look, we've got more listeners.
Oh my gosh. That was just a small percentage of the millions of people who are watching. But anyway, Taylor, let's move on to plugs. This is where we tell all of you all of the things that you should be reading that we're producing and watching as well. We do a podcast called Where We Buy, and it's at wherewebuy.show is the website, or you can find it on wherever it is you get your podcasts. This week, I interviewed Anne Mazenga and Chris Walton. They work together at OmniTalk, but they met working on the Target Store of the Future project. So cool interview. We talked about the Target Store of the Future. Check that out in the latest episode of Where We Buy. And then I am speaking at a virtual conference this week called Center Build. It is tomorrow and Friday. If you're watching this live, December 2nd. No, wait, that's today. It's tomorrow. December 3rd and 4th. It may be today too. Well, regardless, this week, join me at Center Build. Keynoter is going to be Brian Solis with Salesforce. He's their, I think his title's like futurist or evangelist or, one of those fancy Silicon Valley titles. But anyway, Taylor, what have you got to plug?
So if you're still interested in learning more about holidays, what we found this year, what we predict for the year, check out our holiday report. It is available on jll.com. And just as of today, hot off the press, right? That's a thing. Our third quarter outlook is up. Again, shout out to Keisha, one of our millions of listeners and watchers of this, who authored this report. You can just hear kind of what's going on, both sides of the good and the bad of the retail market right now. But it's a great report and really gives you a good insight to what is happening as we begin to close out this year.
And Keisha has been working so hard that she's suffering from beach withdrawal.
Hence why she needs to get to Jamaica ASAP.
She doesn't live that far. Keisha lives on the East Coast, not far from the ocean, so she could be getting out there.
Yeah, I actually hear those beaches are nice by like the Florida Panhandle, right? Whatever.
Oh yeah, you want to go to the Gulf Coast in Florida, and yes. Keisha doesn't live in Florida, but nearby. We shouldn't be. We're doxing our coworker right now. But anyway, the waters in the Gulf Coast are lovely. They're like see-through.
Yeah, that's like the real light blue. To go to a lovely, and I realize I live in California, but I'm saying it's like not the same as like a, real light blue water beach. Now I'm suffering from beach withdrawal.
Yeah, the worst, it's fun to visit is, in New England, the ocean up there. It's great to hang out on the beach, but trying to go in that water, it is so cold.
No.
Water. What's in LA, Taylor? What's? I'm trying to remember how the water's not that warm, is it?
60s. No, it's very cold, and I think it's like 60s in the summer. Like it's cold. We don't get any. I think maybe in August. No, well, our summer comes a little late. No, it's cold. It's cold, and just more rough. And I'm like used to East Coast beaches. They're very different.
Right, because you're from New Jersey. The East Coast beaches, like in the Mid-Atlantic, are just kind of gross. Like that's where I grew up. And like Jersey, when I think of Jersey Shore, I think of I think of like seaweed.
All right. Well, we don't have that much time and I'm not going to get into it, but the Jersey Shore gets a bad rap because
Uh-huh.
of that terrible
'Cause it-
show. And there
'cause
are trashy beaches, but there are also some of the most beautiful beaches that
I've never
are.
seen that show. I'm aware of its existence, but I should say I did go to Wildwood sometimes growing up, and it's a little too Jersey for me.
Yeah, those again. No offense to our thousands of listeners, and someone must be from Wildwood, who's listening in. No offense. No, that's terrible. Next one, I will show you a picture of like the beach that I went to when I was a kid, and it is beautiful. And you would never say a bad word about New Jersey ever again after seeing it.
All right. Well, I'm giving a shout out to where we went most when I was a kid, which is Ocean City, Maryland. Great beach. Love it. Haven't been in years, but it's right near Rehoboth Beach, which is where the Bidens go. I hear every year. Anyway, Taylor, what else do you know about retail?
So much, James, but I'll tell you all of it next week.
Oh, that means we're out of time. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Taylor, you have to wave.
Oh, sorry. I was.